Hello, YouTube world. Thanks for checking in the Khaliis take. Now, today's take, we'll be talking about the game of the night, which was the Los Angeles Clippers versus the Utah Jazz. Now, before we get into the video, please like, subscribe, leave any comments. Also, hit the notification bell for future content. But be sure to check out my previous videos as well. I think you'll like the content. I think you'll find it intriguing. Now, let's just jump right into it. Now, last night's game, when you talk about the Clippers versus the Jazz, when we speak on that, I sit here and say the team who won this game last night is probably the best team in the West as constructed right now. I think if the Clippers are fully healthy, I think they're the best team in the West. And I don't really think it's close. Now, I will say this. Now, if the Lakers are healthy, of course the Lakers are going to contend with that. But the Lakers aren't healthy right now because Anthony Davis is going to be out at least probably a month or so. So we can't give them credit right now based upon, the way they're constructed. So when I say the Clippers are probably the best team in the West, or the team to beat in the West after last night, is because Utah Jazz played a great game. They fought the whole time. Donovan Mitchell, ended up with like 35 points, and he was hitting some big shots at the end. And I personally thought the game was going into overtime, the way the game was, the way it was going. But at the same time, the Clippers had Kawhi Leonard on the other end. And, to me, the biggest part of that game was just the intangible, the little things that, go a long way. Now, Kawhi Leonard, it did end up having 29 points. But the 2 offensive rebounds that he got with like a minute and something to go in that game, the way Donovan Mitchell hit those last 2 big threes, think about if they got those 1 or 2 offensive rebounds that Kawhi took from them to basically almost secure the game. If they would have got those rebounds, I think Utah scores on those, and I think they put more pressure on the Clippers and possibly going to overtime, or they might possibly, have won the game before he even got to overtime, the way Donovan Mitchell was hitting shots at the end. But when you look at plays like that, see, those are championship type plays. Those are plays that win championships. And it's little things like that Kawhi does also, along with give you 30 points in a game and good defense, where you can win championships. I said it before this year. I said it last year. If the Clippers go out there and play their game, if they back Kawhi up the way they're supposed to, Kawhi Leonard will help you deliver. He will help deliver a championship. Kawhi is that type of player. Kawhi can control a game in so many ways, and he is a top 2, top 3 player in the league for a reason, because he does the little things and he also does the big things to win games. And to me, right now, he's still in the MVP conversation to me. And personally, I think he should be in the Defensive Player of the Year. He should be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, if not top of the list, because his defense has been really good this year. He's been really spot on with that, just like he is pretty much every year. But this year, he's just playing with a different mode. I know he's been out the last couple of games, him and PG. Shout out to PG, too. PG came back last night. He played some really good defense, switching on Donovan Mitchell a couple of times, Joe Ingles, and just fighting through screens, things like that. I really thought both of them played really well for the most part. I know PG didn't really have a outbreak in a scoring part of the game, but he still affected the game in some ways that actually helped them get over the hump and win this game against Utah. And I thought Kawhi Leonard, of course, did the same thing. I think they both missed some games. I think Kawhi had a leg contusion the last 3 or 4 games, and PG been out like a week or so. So for them to come back and beat a team like this, and they weren't even really in rhythm, says a lot about who the Clippers are. And I think a lot of people need to understand that the Clippers are going to be a team that they're going to have to contend with. And if you want to beat the Clippers in a 7-game series, it's going to be a lot different than it was last year. Last year, they had all the wrong pieces. Montrezl Harrell is trash. He's an undersized big man. He's always... You always have to set up plays for him to get garbage baskets. He's not one of those skilled big men where he can really control a game or play at his pace and still get what he wants from the defense or from the opposing team. Montrezl Harrell's not like that. And that's the reason why, to me, he was one of their biggest, like, weak points last year. You know what I'm saying? So he was like one of their biggest, like, weakest links, I would say. So now they got rid of him and they added Serge Ibaka. Now you're adding size, you're adding a shot blocker, and you're adding a three-point shooter. And that's something that Montrezl Harrell didn't have neither of those attributes he had. So now you really upgraded from who he was. And Lou Williams is still playing pretty good. You know, he played pretty good tonight. So I think he had like 17, 18 points, you know, give or take. So, I mean, it was a big effort out of him. You know, he looks like he's a little rejuvenated, which is great. And like I said, honestly, I like the Luke Kennard pickup too, because that gives them an extra shooter on the floor. And, you know, I think he definitely tries hard on defense. He's not really a good defender, but he tries hard on defense. And that's all you can ask for out of a player like him. The biggest pickup I thought was Nicholas Batum, because you're talking about somebody who can handle the ball some, play his point guard a little bit, play off the ball. And Nicholas Batum is damn near money from the three-point line, especially from the corner. That's his spot right there. So, I mean, you know, I think they added some good key opponents. And, you know, Ty Lue, shout out to him too, man, because he got this team gelling. They're playing at a different level. They're playing on a different accord, and I like what they're doing. I like how they're sharing the ball, but I still like how they get the ball to Kawhi Leonard when they need to. PG is gonna do his thing. PG gonna have numbers. He gonna play great, but the main thing is your superstar is Kawhi Leonard. Get the ball to him. Let Kawhi go out there and dominate like he can. Because if Kawhi is going out there dominating and putting pressure on these teams, and if Paul George can stay consistent at what he does when the playoffs start, they're gonna be a team. They're gonna be a really hard team to beat. And Pat Bev, I gotta give him some credit too, man. He's knocking down some big threes, big shots. He's hitting his free throws. He's playing defense. I mean, they can't ask no more out of him. I mean, he is really, from last year to this year, he's really shown a dramatic improvement. So, I mean, I have to say, if the Clippers do make a trade or something like that, I would definitely think about trying to, you know, maybe keep Pat Bev, unless you can throw somebody in there, you know, that might be a little bit more fitting for a trade, like maybe Reggie Jackson. I'm not sure, even though Reggie Jackson is playing pretty good in this offense too. But throw a trade in there for like Reggie Jackson. Like if they have opportunity to get Kyle Lowry or something like that, I would definitely throw Reggie Jackson in there. Maybe Terrence Mann, you know, somebody like that. You know, yeah, I would definitely go that direction, because I mean, you definitely need, you know, somebody of that caliber. But I mean, hey, if it came down to it, you know, I would take Kyle Lowry over Pat Bev any day, you know, me personally. But, you know, I definitely understand why they would keep Pat Bev, you know, over Reggie Jackson, of course, because, I mean, you know, hey, Pat Bev has shown to be a little bit more valuable. And I'll just leave it there. But, yeah, I'm really proud of this team, really proud of how they played. Like I said, I like to see, you know, them healthy. I like to see them build that camaraderie more, because I think the only thing with the Clippers is camaraderie and health. If they stay together and keep playing more and get more of that chemistry, I don't think the Lakers could beat them. I really don't. And I know a lot of people would say the Lakers were AD, this, and that. But I'm telling you, it's something about that Clippers team. If they build that chemistry the way they're supposed to, the way Ty Lue has them playing, and then on top of that, you know what I'm saying, they're learning from players who know the game from a different aspect too. Now they got Chauncey Billups on the bench. Chauncey Billups was a champion in this league. Chauncey Billups was a really good point guard in this league. So him getting with Pat Bev and getting with the team and telling them what he knows, and Ty Lue, it's going to be tough. And I think that's the advantage they might have over the Lakers, because, I mean, I'll take Ty Lue over Frank Vogel any day. Even though Frank Vogel won a championship with LeBron and AD last year, that's only because they had LeBron and AD, two of the top 5 players. And they really feasted, I would say, off of, you know, just the energy of, you know, the passing of Kobe last year. And I remember in the bubble, they had Kobe Day and, you know, all the Mamba Day and all this stuff. So they was really feeding off of the energy of him, you know, in the city and all that. And I think that's a big part of the reason why, you know, they came together and they won that championship, which is, you know, kudos to the Lakers, you know what I'm saying? Because, hey, it is what it is. But at the same time, like I said, none of that's this year. All that's in the past last year. Now this team, the Clippers, look a lot better. They look a lot more formidable. And I can tell you this much now. I believe that the Lakers are worried about this team if they have to see them in the playoffs. I think the Lakers are hoping that the Clippers make another slip up this year so they don't have to see them in the playoffs, because the way this team looks, it doesn't look like nobody could beat them when they're 100% healthy. And that's the way it looks to me. And they've already beaten the Lakers. They've already beaten Denver. They've beaten Utah. They've beaten the top teams in the West. So if the Clippers go to the finals, I wouldn't be surprised. I know a lot of other people probably would be, but I wouldn't. So I definitely like what I've seen out of this team. But like I said, all that's in the future as far as playoff. We haven't even got to the All-Star game yet. But I definitely want to see this team stay healthy, because I think this team can do big things. And I think this team will shock a lot of people, especially when playoff time comes, pending on if Paul George, wants to show up in the playoffs. Hopefully. We need you to show up, Paul George. Be great, buddy. Appreciate you. But at the same time, hey, like I said, big win for them last night. Big win, for them going forward as well, for their confidence. And, they just got to build off of it. I like the pieces they got. Marcus Morris is also playing good, and I got to shout him out too. He's been playing really good. So, like I said, we'll see exactly how it pans out. But me personally, I wouldn't mind seeing the Clippers versus the Nets in the finals. I wouldn't mind seeing it at all, because, I think the only person if there's one guy, I think, if he's really locked in, that can probably maybe guard Kevin Durant some in this league, I think it's Kawhi Leonard. LeBron James can't do it anymore. LeBron James is older. So I think they'll have an easier time beating the Lakers, because you got an older LeBron trying to guard one of those three. It ain't going to happen. He might can guard Kyrie some, but when it comes to Kevin Durant, it ain't going to happen. When it comes to James Harden, it ain't going to happen. So this is why I said, really, a lot of people might want to start looking at the facts. The better team to play the Brooklyn Nets in the finals would probably be the Clippers, because they're younger, and Kawhi Leonard in the finals has always been spectacular. The two finals we actually seen Kawhi Leonard in, he was spectacular. And if we get that Kawhi Leonard in the finals versus KD and that team with the Clippers and their defensive team, and how they can gel together, and they got Serge Ibaka, and like I said, if they make a trade at the All-Star deadline and they get a point guard, a really good point guard, maybe like the likes of Alonzo Ball, maybe even Kyle Lowry, you better watch out for the Clippers. Because the one thing Kawhi Leonard always has done, he's always thrived when he's had a really good point guard. Anytime Kawhi Leonard's had a really good point guard, he's always won a championship. Tony Parker back in the day with the Spurs. Toronto Raptors with Kyle Lowry. You give him a point guard that really can get him in his spots where he wants, Kawhi Leonard's going to be even more deadly. And you give him a point guard that can knock down the shot when they need it, Kawhi Leonard is going to be even more deadly, because now you have to pay attention to the point guard, and you can't double team Kawhi. If you can't double team Kawhi, if he's in his spots, I don't give a damn who's guarding him. Kawhi is going to get his. And we all know mid-range is his office, and that's where he prefers to work from. So if he's got one-on-one coverage in his office, I promise you, somebody's getting cooked or somebody's getting terminated, because that's just exactly how Kawhi plays. So my thing is, I think everybody need to watch out for the Clippers, and I don't think nobody need to sleep on them this year, because I think they're a whole different team. I think if they played the Nuggets this time, I think they would beat them 4-1 this time pretty easily, especially now the Nuggets don't have Jerry and Grant and a couple players like that they didn't have, that they had last year. Makes a huge difference on their team. So like I said, I'm interested to see how the Clippers play going forward. And, we'll definitely keep an eye on them. But, hey, till next time.